there, everybody. You may recognize this is not an actual Let's Play, despite what my schedule says, and I apologize for that. I will update my schedule. Well, to let you know, I am canceling the South America DLC. Let's switch to the Farming Simulator homepage just to kind of get a little look at it, maybe while we're talking about it. I think it's a great. It's definitely the best map Giants has ever done, and I did love it at first. But my problem is, I grew up in Central Illinois. If you Google, I've said this before, but if you Google Brazil cornfields, this map, well, not this map, but Brazil cornfields, the results of those images turn up basically exactly like Central Illinois in the Midwest. I could not tell the difference between those pictures of the Google search results for Brazil cornfields and what Central Illinois looks like. And based on that comparison, I'm just guessing that they made this map open on purpose, but they still had a lot of really nice details on there that I loved. But the biggest problem for me is I just don't like open maps. I play open maps in real life when I go back home to my parents' farm. And so despite all the similarities between this and a Midwest map, I think that I just don't like it. It's the same reason why I haven't gotten around to doing a Let's Play on my very own map that I've created of Central Illinois, because it's just, for one, I get to do that in real life, and for two, it's just not as much fun to play in game. I just like the smaller fields, and I like maps to feel cozy, and this one does not. That's just my personal preference. So in case you're wondering why I originally raved about this map, I still do like it, and I understand and I appreciate it for how good it is. And definitely, if it would have released when Farming Simulator 17 first came out, this would have been by far my favorite map to play as opposed to Goldcrest. But there's so many other good mod maps out there. I think that's just why I can't keep going back to this map. It just didn't hold my attention very long. I think it's the map more than the equipment. The equipment's actually really, really awesome, and I do hope that someone comes out with an awesome sugarcane map. Maybe more in a valley or a mountainous region. Not as much open areas, because even though, again, I think they're trying to really depict the area, and that's why there's so many open areas as opposed to just the typical Giants map. It might be a little bit of both, but regardless, that's just to explain why I'm canceling my South America series, and I will update my schedule, my banner header there on YouTube soon. So I do apologize for anybody expecting that today. We're going to get on to the West Coast just a little bit, but we're actually not going to be playing today. We're going to do a little tutorial on something that I've been playing around with and experimenting around with a lot, because it's awesome. And there's not enough English users or videos. I don't think I saw any English videos, and I learned a lot talking with these guys. The first thing, it's the global market. If you don't know what this is, we'll get into what it is, but I think that you want this on your map because it makes you feel a lot more like you're playing in real life farming. Anyway, the I guess some history. Let's see. I think they explain it somewhere. Balu, who, if you're familiar with the auto train drive script, I believe he's the same guy who started this global market script, and he said that I don't have enough time. He released it open source, and these guys over here on marhu.net, I'm not sure the author, Wingy, they have gone and they have taken the script from there and made it into really something much, much better, and made a lot of small improvements. So you can get it here on marhu.net. I know it exists other places, but I would recommend here. It's a download from FileHorse, so it's not like uploaded or anything like that. FileHorse, doesn't pop up any viruses, so it's a safe little download site. And they do also have this Discord here, so if you are lost at all, they have this nice little Discord chat here. Here you can see I've even asked a lot of questions in here. They have an English forum, so if you get confused at all, feel free to go into that Discord and ask some questions. They have said that they are going to be developing this further, and I'll get into why I'm really excited about those improvements. But for now, let's get this installed. So I have downloaded the file, and we can exit out of that now. And let's get up our folders going. And so here's the download. It comes down as a .rar file. .rar. I think rare is the right way to say that abbreviation. Anyway, we're gonna extract it, and inside that folder, when you extract it, you get several other things. So first of all is this global market folder. What you want to do with this is you actually want to put that in your Farming Simulator 2017 folder. You want to put it at this level. So we will cut that and paste it there. I guess I could have just drag and dropped. Inside that folder, however, there's something else that you want, this economy data folder. You might want to go in there and say, you might want to change something like your username. Let's call us the Sim Station. And let's just change the message to hello or something like that. And I'm going to just change those basic messages and don't mess with anything else in there. So that is okay. So that should be all you need from that economy data. Whoops, that is something else that I was working on. So that'll change that. That's the only thing you need to change in your economy data. And again, that was located in this global market folder. This is a README that basically walks you through the same process that I am telling you, but look at that, it's all in German. So that's why I had to figure out a lot of this stuff based on, well, I watched a video and someone who could speak German told me, here's just a link to their Discord server. So we're not going to need those two anymore because I already have them. And then the mods, you need to copy and paste those mods into your mod folder. I already have them, but we will just replace them just in case. They did just update versions to 0.95 instead of 0.94, so I'm just making sure I have the 0.95 version. And how we use it is, let's go into the West Coast, and I will show you. So just to recap all of those steps again, you need to download the files, set up the files, after extract them, and then you need to go into your save game, set up the placeable first, exit the save game completely, and then go back into your global client and launch that global market client. And then once that global market client is running, go back into your save game, and then you should see what we're about to see, a little chat message pop up, and it will pop up right there. So it says that global market chat, hello Sim Station, and if you notice, it did change to the message that I set it to change. And I don't know if you also noticed, but it does also have a message on there for if you want to. Whoops, we are on, there we go. I typically turn off the gearbox when it's operating by itself. But let's, course play is what I'm trying to say. So let's go over, and I have gifted myself just a little bit of resources. We're going to go over and get one of our beautiful Marston trailers done up by Bullet Bill, and we're going to hook it up, and we're going to sell something, so that way you can see us sell it, and then you can see us buy it. And like I was saying, don't get confused about the actual global storage aspect. Even though it's called global storage, one of the buildings is called global storage, it's not an actual global storage. It is a global market. They just call the buildings global storage for some reason. I'm not really sure why that is, but it's not like you can store things globally for yourself. So don't think of it in that term, that way. It is a global market. It's a global storage. The only storage is that it stores things globally for the entire globe. It's not your own personal global storage. That's how I was originally actually thinking of the mod. I knew you could sell stuff, but I also thought you could store stuff globally just for yourself. So you could buy stuff on your farm and then sell it on, store stuff from one map and then load up another map and pull it out of the global storage. That's how I thought it could work. It is right now only a sell point, but it's connected to the entire world, which really makes you feel, connected. And I can imagine that eventually they're working. Right now, all the prices are fixed. They are based on your difficulty level in your game. So let's hold on. We gotta activate the farm silo system. We have 10,000 liters wheat, and let's get back into our tractor here and open up our cover and start filling. How do we fill? Let's see. Let's go back over here. Start fill. There we go. We want to fill up wheat. There we go. So animation's a little off on this, but we are filling up with wheat, and then we're gonna go sell this wheat. And like I said, this thing is so cool, and I wanted to bring more attention because it's all in German, and all the people talking about this and all the videos I've seen are all in German, and I don't think I don't think there's enough users using this mod. And when, I don't normally do mod reviews, and I don't normally, you know, I don't normally do mod reviews. Let's just leave it at that. But I do like to bring your attention to things that I think are especially awesome that are being underutilized. Even though I have a small viewer base, I like my viewers to understand things, and especially since a lot of my viewers are not German. If we can get up this hill, we need to lower in the first gear here. And yeah, I actually don't have my headphones on. Okay, so I need to raise the ground there just slightly. And let's go in here and we will sell. If you do see one thing real quick, you might notice that you can sell bales there. And then you can also go through and what is this? I think this is where you sell other things. Like if you look here in the where is it? Placeables. If you look over here at all the different things that you can buy and sell, it's off the screen. So this works really well with the factory script. You can basically buy and sell anything that you can produce in a factory. And let's go in and, okay, so we need to pull across the scale here. And then we will press I to, I think I to sell, yeah. And so if you notice, it takes a little while to update, but right now we're selling, right? And then we're going to sell, and then eventually we'll see an update message through that chat saying that we sold, and right there it gives us 4,500 bucks. So the prices are all let's actually see real quick if I don't actually know if they are here on this placeable. It used to have, it looks like this was, whoops, I kind of fell off the screen there. It looks like this was one of the things that they recently changed. There used to be a listing of prices on this, all across the, on both sides of this. So I'm not sure why they removed that from this version. Maybe they only made the prices a feature of that bigger version. But anyway, if we go over here, we can take a look at everything that we can buy. So we can buy, my tractor's kind of coasting. Let's just turn it off there. We can buy wheat. Look at that. How many is that? 1.8 million. There's the barley. There's the canola. There's sunflowers. There's soybeans. There's corn, potatoes, sugar beet. And so these are items that everybody in the world has stored and either produced and sold, or look at that, no manure. It does have quite a bit of slurry. So look at this. We can actually that's not very much slurry at all. 58,000 liters. We need to get some more slurry in there. So this is part of the fun thing. It's like if it allows you to do things like buy and sell slurry. And so if I make a call, if some of you guys want to get this working and I make the call in my map and I say, hey, my local storage is out of slurry, can some of you guys sell some slurry so that I can buy it from, I'm essentially buying it from the global market. But I mean, in reality, I'm basically buying it from you, because the only way stuff gets in here is if it's sold by you connected to the server. So that's pretty cool. Digest date. Okay, so there's a little bit more there, and we got some milk that we could buy and sell. And so this is something you have to study the prices if it because look at the seed and Total-Mix ration. We got chaff, and so it looks like, yeah, you sell bales, but then when you buy it, it looks like it'll get ended up in a wagon here. So yeah, there's straw. I don't actually know how you buy. You might have to. Let's just look at this real quick. Yeah, so it ends up like that. So I'd be willing to guess that a lot of things are like that. You can't buy bales. It's probably not functional. That would be really cool if one day you could buy bales and actually get it functional on your, the bales would appear like a buy bale trigger instead of in your wagon like that. So you could actually have bales instead of loose straw like that. But anyway, that's let's sell this back. And so I think it looks like it's something like a 10% discount or 10% markup. So if you do sell something to the global market, you can actually buy it back from yourself at another map. And I think again, it's with it adjusts to your difficulty level. The prices adjust to your difficulty level. So if you want to buy something back on another map, it's basically like it will cost you slightly more, but you can just role play that, chalk that up as a transport fee. That's basically what it is. So let's just look real quick at, so we have straw. You know what? I need to turn on my tractor again. It keeps coasting. As soon as I put up my menu, it's like it doesn't register the brake anymore. Let's look at the other things. So straw, pig food. There we go. Grass. We're all empty on grass, but we do have hay and cows and sheep and pigs and rye and all these other types of multi. These are all from the factory map. So this really allows you to if you have a factory map that needs, say, sugar to make a component, you don't actually need to make the sugar yourself. Just, request someone else makes a sugar from their factory map, and then you get things together and you go and make them in your individual factories or however you want to play the game. You can play it. And they did also add, look at this. They had straw pellets with the, I think that registers as that's the creative mesh straw pellets that they just did an update that added this, the straw pellets, and then eventually we'll see sugar cane somewhere on here because, or maybe we already passed it. Maybe it was at the beginning. Yeah, sugar cane. And so anyway, that is basically this global market. Real quick, I do want to mention, in case you're wondering how to make your placeables fit in a little bit better, I hate the ugly default clear area that a placeable does. So oftentimes what I do is let's just run over that real quick, and that will be the end of the tutorial. I'm going to quit this without saving because that's not my normal series. Let's go back into display mode. We're going to exit our game here, and I'm going to show you real quick how I made those changes. And this is not going to be it's a kind of a beginner's tutorial, but it's not a total beginner's tutorial because I assume that you already know some things. So if you haven't, be sure to check out my absolute beginners tutorial. But I'm going to basically go assuming you know some basics, but just maybe not a few of these details. So first of all, let's go into our save game. So my West Coast series is save game 1. What we want to do, anytime we make these changes, we want to copy the cultivator and the fruit density. Sometimes some maps will have a multi-fruit layer 1 or something like that. Another GDM file that you'll have to grab if you update. But most basic maps, you only need to grab those two things. So just copy them. Remember, it's probably a good idea to make a backup copy anytime you edit a map or anything like that. So what we want to do, we copy those from our save game file, the cultivator density and the fruit density. And just in case you're wondering, that is basically that's your terrain layer. And then this is all of the fruit layer. So your foliage that grows. And let's go back into mods and then the West Coast and maps, map 02. Sometimes it's located in map 01, and this map it's map 02. So we're pasting. And right now the reason we're doing this is because we are setting our mod map based on we're setting up our map based on the conditions of our save game. So what's going to happen when we load this, we're going to see the exact same growth stages in all the fields, the exact same detail that we have out there in all of our fields. It's going to show up on this map. And the reason why I did this is because when I make changes now, I can actually, whoa, we are going way too fast. Why is that? Oh, you know what? I'm framed rotate. Let's get rid of framed rotate there. Okay, so let's see. So all of these changes look at this. See, there's where I was driving with my tractors, and this field I mowed, if you remember from last episode. So that's what replacing that does. And the reason why we did that is because if we make changes over here, like adding more grass or taking grass away, well, then the only way we're going to see those changes in game, well, you'll see. Anyway, what we need to do here is we need to, let's see. Let's see. There was a little bit of grass over here. I think I wanted about right there. No. I guess one quick note, you can raise and whoops, not that button. That's my mistake. You can raise and lower. That stuff is not stored in your save game file. That stuff never changes in a save game, so it's not replaced or overwritten your base map components. The fruit density and the cultivator density are overwritten by your save game file. That's the only way it can save, when you plant crops, that's the only way those changes can get saved, because it basically takes the place of these files. That's the whole point of this GDM system. So what we need to do here is anytime we make changes, so like let's say I wanted to get rid of some more grass. Let's see, we are on foliage. Let's say I wanted to make a path right here behind the LPG halls, and let's say over to here. And let's say something like that. We want something like that to be all dirt. And so we're going to go to paint dirt now. And whoops, that was grass. I must have selected the wrong thing. I thought I was on dirt. Okay, so let's go to dirt then. And paint the dirt and go on in. Okay, and then we'll do a little smoothing so it's not quite so abrupt. And we'll get rid of that little... no, let's leave that corner. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to save. And actually, I did notice that I wanted the terrain to go up just slightly. So I could do this one of two ways for placeables. I could actually go in my save game folder and, well, let's just look at that real quick. Let's just look at that option. So I can either change the terrain here, or I can change it. If I go to mods, if I go to my save game folder, so again, I said my save game was number 1. I could go into the vehicle.xml file and I could find my, where is it? I could find my global, it's my global storage right there. So this building is my placeable. I could change the Y coordinates of this building down a little bit. Let's change it down let's just change it down to point, I don't know, 1. Let's change it to half a meter. That's gonna be too much. Let's go to 2. And let's open up the game again and see how that looks. So you can either do it like that, or like I said, you can actually change the map itself. So after saving the map, we exit out of the map, and then we go back into the map as the folder where these cultivator and fruit density files were. And then we copy them, and then we go back into the save game folder and we overwrite these folders. Now, the reason why we originally had to overwrite these two files with our map files was because otherwise, when we go to copy back this way, what we just did, if we didn't get what our map first had, then you'd have the original state of the map replaced in your save game, and it'd be basically like you started all over again, and you probably don't want that. And that's why it's important to always make a backup copy before you do this. Anyway, let's get back into the game, and we should see those changes that we made in the game. All right, let's run down here and see the changes that we made. We never exit out of our global client, so that's still there. And here we go. So we can look at this. So we see the change that we made over here. This is still grass. I guess we could probably take up that grass area, but whatever. And so the markers are gone. We might have lowered it a little bit too much, but we personally know those markers are there, and I typically don't have markers visible anyway. So I'm fine with those not appearing. And then we don't have a gap over here either. So, and then we might have lowered it a little bit too much. We could probably we need to get rid of the grass inside of that area. And so this is one of the ways, like I said, that you can make your placeables look a little bit nicer and lower or raise them. Like I said, you can either raise the terrain, or you can lower the placeable in the vehicles.xml file. And then remember, those you don't need to do all that extra steps of copy and paste the GDM files. But if you do change your foliage or your terrain layer, which are your fields, for those you have to do those other steps that I said, where you replace the ones in the map with the ones from your save game. You make your changes in the Giants editor, and then when you're done, you go from the files that you had in the map folder back to your save game again. And that's how you do these changes that I did. So now, just one quick note, I think you need a special trailer over here. If you're using this on a factory map, you need some kind of special trailer. I think the one from the Caster food pack to get all these other items that you might want to buy, but you don't need that if you're just using the the fill trigger for crops. It works just fine with normal crops, and selling crops works just fine too. So that is Captain Balu. That's awesome. So that is the global market. Like I said, it makes me feel connected because in real life, that is a lot of the it's real life prices and real life supply and demand is, you can't just produce, if I need, well, for example, what I was doing, slurry. If I need slurry from my farm, I can't just run down there to a trigger that has an infinite supply and bring it back up here to my farm. It has to come from somewhere. And it kind of makes you feel like you're connected to the rest of the world. And even though it's your own save game and nobody else is in here, it kind of feels almost multiplayer because you can get some of this other stuff from the global market. And so it's a great way, for example, if you have pigs, but you don't want to grow corn, or you have pigs and you run out of wheat, or you have pigs and you don't want to grow potatoes. You can get all that stuff, or you can just buy pig food from an actual silo trigger. You can get all that stuff from the global market, provided that there's a supply. And like I said, they have static prices right now. The static prices are based on your difficulty level. I am not sure how they compare to MR prices. I would imagine that they're similar because the base game actually had similar prices at the hard level to the realistic values. So I'm not too worried about the price difference between this and the MR values. But if you are curious, you can go in there and look yourself. Like I said, this version used to have a big old, you know what, we're not going to save this. So let's buy that other building real quick. And well, if I have the money to buy it, I think it's 75. We do not. So let's actually, what can we sell? Let's just sell Fritz there, and like I said, we're not going to actually save this game. So let's buy this big one and see if it comes with anything different. So here we go. Buy. We're just going to buy it there. Let's go see what it has. All right, so I'm looking for... It looks like they took out they used to have a huge black sign with all the prices. And again, I'm not sure if those prices, or maybe it's in a HUD menu somewhere. Doesn't look like it. So I'm kind of, well, you know what? They might have taken that away because they're getting ready to, like I say, they're currently working on a variable prices. So those I'm not sure how they're going to display those. I know that you can look at prices in your, well, let's go back to our display and let's quit the game without saving because that looks hideous. And then we go to quit and we can exit out of that. So here we go. Right here in the client, you can actually see the price for medium and the price for easy. So let's actually look at this real quick. If we go on up to, let's compare these prices. So there is wheat and there's all the base prices. Let's look at the MR mod, so mods, and it'll be under more realistic gameplay, which is somewhere around here. Let's go to date modified because it's relatively recent. I just updated. Where is it? More realistic gameplay and more realistic. Let's see, data, and then fruit config fill types. Is it under fill types? Set start price per. There we go. So I think that should get us a comparative ratio. So let's compare these prices with MR. So we have wheat, 450, and wheat is set to 433. Barley is 400, and it is 463. Rape is 550, and that is 689. So a little bit, actually, they're even more realistic in the global market. No, the sunflower is 750. They're close, but you know what? It's a different. Soybeans are 600, and soybeans are so that's a lot higher in Durrell's mod. So you may or may not want to sell at the global market, but let's see. Where's maize? I don't see. Oh, right there, 425, and maize is actually more at the global market than it is in real life. Potatoes are, so, based on how they fluctuate in game with the seasons mod, the prices that you have for more realistic may or may not actually be less or more than the prices over here. So you can pay attention to this. And like I said, they are going to make it even more interesting because pretty soon, I think maybe on the next update, the next couple updates, they're working on making these variable, and then they'll mesh in a lot more with the barley. So if you're just trying to make the most money, you can look at that. Or if you just want to have some fun and connect to the world, this is a great way to do it. So it makes it a lot of fun where you could actually, and the reason why I looked into this was because I'm actually going to do this on the West Coast. I am going to whatever new map I play, I'm gonna kind of utilize the global market as my transport company, if you will, and I'm gonna sell. For example, I'm thinking about for example, let's just say the West Coast is my arable farm map, and then on the next map I play, it is only going to be livestock, or vice versa. And then the way I can transition and transfer, well, bales are going to be a little bit harder because they don't appear as bales. But um, you know what? I could always use the buy bale mod, sell it on one side, and then use the buy bales mod at the store. So kind of fictionalize, like, okay, they just appear at the store instead of the global market. But anyway, like for example, pigs, I could grow all my crops on one farm, sell it all to the global market, and then I could buy it from the global market on my other farm. And the 10% price upkeep, or whatever the difference is in prices between buying and selling, I could just say, well, that's transport costs. And, with that, it could actually be a fun way to play two different maps, but I keep the maps connected. I think that will be a lot of fun. And I know stuff like, you know, taking care of pigs is hard as it is, but if you have something like the global market store, I mean, that's awesome, because then you don't always have to worry about, like, oh man, like, it takes so much to get pigs, and I don't have enough, crops and storage for pigs, and now my pigs are going to die and starve. Well, now they're not going to starve because you have the global storage and you can buy from the world. So anyway, I think this is something a lot of fun. Smart people, they can actually look at this and look at your storage over here for MR, and you could, if you wanted to, you could drain for example, what were like soybeans. They're cheaper to buy here than they are to sell locally. So you could actually, start your own shipping company and buy from the global storage and kind of pretend that you're Euro truck driver driving across your map. It'd probably work really cool on 4X maps where you could haul across the map and place the global storage on one side and your sell point on the other. I don't know about that, but anyway, there's a lot of different things that you can use this global market for. If you're role playing, or just buying and selling, and you want to connect to the world and feel a little bit more like you're connected there. For a lot of fun, I was actually thinking about just deleting all the sell triggers from the West Coast and only using the global market. It really, especially once you get variable pricing, it really make me feel connected to the world. And that's the beauty of this thing. It makes it feel a little bit more like you're playing a real game. And I have wanted something like a global economy in Farming Simulator for so long. It would make your single player games feel so much better, because you're connected to the world. And even if you're playing by yourself, I mean, that's what real life is. You farm by yourself or with one other person, but the price is driven by the world supply and demand. And I don't know. It's such a fascinating concept. Obviously, they would have to put um, balancing in there so that the price doesn't get driven to zero, or if the demand's so great, the price doesn't get driven to an unrealistic value. There's going to have to be some, catch in there so that it doesn't drive it too high or too low. But anything variable will be awesome, and I look forward to that. So anyway, that is how I am thinking about the future for my West Coast series and whatever map is in the future. Like I said, I'll update my banner on YouTube pretty soon with this is turned into a talking simulator instead of farming simulator. But like I said, I will I'll turn it into I'll update my banner, and this is the future of the West Coast, and it's a way to keep the West Coast going and still play a new map. And like I said, with this schedule, I think that I'm gonna just run them in tandem, and the same seasons, roughly the same. I don't think I'll go exactly the same day for day. Spend a day on the West Coast, spend a day somewhere else, spend a day on the West Coast, spend a day somewhere else. I think it'll just keep like the general. Okay, it's fall on this map, then it's got to be fall on the other map. Something like that. But I'm gonna kind of play them at the same time, and then it'll be like me showing up. So it's Mr. Manager showing up on the farm, and he's gonna run the farm for a little bit, tell the minions what to do, and then he's gonna go and travel over to the other farm that's 50, 100 miles away, or wherever it is fictionally in our story. And I think that's a fun way to play multiple maps and keep things going on the West Coast as well. And it's actually a really cool way where I could, if I'm particularly enjoying another map, I could play weeks on the other map and then all of a sudden show back up on the West Coast and say, okay, things were getting a little out of order. It's harvest time. So, like, I could only show harvest time on the West Coast and never have to show any sowing episodes again. I don't know. It's a way to. I think it's a really cool idea, and it's a way to jump back and forth and tell a fun, unique story, but still get the chance to play multiple maps at once. And I think that could be a lot of fun. So and the only way we can do it is with this global market. Otherwise, the farms won't be connected at all. So I'm really looking forward to that and the future of this series in the West Coast and keeping everything connected. I think it'll be a lot of fun. And I look forward to hopefully seeing you guys on Global Market. Like I said, check out those links. And, well, I guess I won't link the Discord because all the information is there on the marhu.net website. And yeah, it's a mod I highly recommend, and I don't think enough people are using it, or at least I don't think enough English people, English speakers are using it based on the lack of videos and people that I see out there using. Like, basically, I'm the only person there in the English speaking global market Discord channel. But we can exit out of this. I think that will just about conclude this episode. And yeah, I'm sorry it's not really a let's play, but I think the future is awesome with jumping back and forth between those maps. I don't think it'll be basically because I'm telling a story. I don't think if you miss a little bit on one map, the storyline's actually advancing on the other map. And so it's like, for example, on the arable map, if we aren't there all summer long and all of a sudden we show up and it's fall and it's harvest, well, okay, you missed maybe some spraying or not even spraying if we're still running an organic farm, right? Because we don't spray in the summer because there's nothing to spray. You can't spray really slurry after the crops are already growing. So that, it's not like you're really even missing anything, but even if you do miss a little bit of the action or I do some stuff off screen, it's not going to feel like you missed anything, I think, because I'll have been busy on the other map and I'll be talking about the series as a whole. No matter what map I'm on, it's going to be basically one running continuous story using the global market storage mod to transfer things back and forth. So I think that should just about cover everything. So I do thank you all for stopping by and checking out this little update/tutorial thing. So yeah, use this global market. It's awesome. That's just about all I'm going to say on that. And yeah, I will stop talking now. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.